Hi and welcome to the AtheistDominion. My name's Rob and today we're going to look at the Commissariat Store here in Brisbane, built in 1829, to see if it qualifies as a mud flood building. Let's go. So the Commissariat Store was built as the place in the very early days of Brisbane colony as a convict penal settlement where goods and produce could be brought in from the surrounding farms, just as a place to collect stores, provide seeds, as a secure place. All the windows have bars on them. You can see the original stonework built by the convicts, and it's a terrific museum here if you ever get a chance to come along and have a look. A lot of wonderfully put together exhibits, and coming along here you can see what's coming soon for Brisbane, a huge casino. And there's the Commissariat Store right down there, tucked in at the bottom. That's where we are now. In this drawing from 1835, you can clearly see the Commissariat Store built into the side of an existing higher ground, hilly area. So this is Miller Place here, and we're going to walk up these stairs. This is the original slope of the ground from the river behind me up to the ground surface up here, and this is William Street. And down the end of the road there, which is now blocked off because of the new casino development. A beautiful day here. So there's the park that we just walked along. Over there. The river down the bottom. Here we go. So just to reiterate, this is the original ground level right here. And as so often happens, the ground will slope away down to the lowest point where the water is. The building here, the Commissariat Store, was dug out, the land was dug out, and the building was placed in the hole that they excavated. The top floor that you can see there was built in 1913. That's a much later add-on. The two lower levels were built in 1829, long before any sort of mud flood is supposed to have occurred. Yet clearly, this is the original ground surface right here. And it continues on. You can walk right through Brisbane. That's the Treasury Hotel there. And it continues on, all the buildings here. This is the ground level. This is the ground level. What we just looked at was deliberately dug out by convict labour from 1828 to 1829. So here's the front of the building. You can see down there, there's the river. And there was a wharf there called King's Wharf. And that's where a lot of the produce from the early days of the colony was brought up from there and up here to the entrance of the Commissariat Store. It's almost like a food prison, a place to store all the goods so that the colony could survive. So like I've said before, mud flood doesn't exist, and this building right here is proof of that. It was dug out deliberately by convict labour decades before this so-called mud flood of yours is supposed to have happened. It didn't happen. There's no such thing as mud flood. You've made it up. Mud flood. I'm pretty much done with it now. So there we have it, a little look around the old Commissariat Store on William Street in Brisbane. Once again, no evidence of a mud flood at all. That's just the natural slope of the land behind, and this building was dug lower into the ground because it had to be closer to the river to bring the stores up. I think the whole thing with mud flood and whatever other conspiracy theory you can dream up, people want to believe something. They want something that sets them apart and makes them special, and you know, someone has an idea for something and other people latch onto it and they think that that's right, and something must just click in their minds, something must just activate and they go, right, that's it, that's the truth, and I'm going to stick with it no matter what. What I've done in these 2 or 3 videos on the subject of mud flood is showed that through research and just common sense, there's no such thing as mud flood. This building here could be a candidate as a mud flood building because it's below street level and was built before this mud flood is supposed to have happened. Which means that it was built in 1829, the mud flood happened in about 1840, 1850, take your pick, it's like bingo. And then workmen later on had to dig out all of this because the building was buried up to its 2nd floor or something. None of that happened. None of it happened at all. Once again, for the millionth time, there's no such thing as mud flood. It's made up. It's absolutely made up, but people do want to believe in something. I think it makes them feel special. It's like, look at me, I'm different. People craving attention, they need something. I guess that's probably how religion starts. Someone has one crazy idea and someone else buys into it, and before you know it, you've got a small community of people and they start believing whatever comes along. There's no such thing as mud flood. It doesn't exist and it didn't happen. This building here is proof that mud flood never happened. Now, if you want to keep believing in mud flood, that's up to you. But please, for once, all of you who believe in mud flood, do a little bit of research. Some research. All you do is walk around city streets and film buildings and say, look, mud flood. You've actually got to do some research. I did it. I did research. I love doing research. All the answers you need, you can find through hard work and a bit of dedication. Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again soon.